In this video today, I will share how you can create a personal assistant, or lately what I call them is personal mentors using ChatGPT. S- This is an amazing feature offered by ChatGPT that anybody can use to build AI applications. And I've been playing with this lately a lot, and what I've realized, it's an amazing feature available that anybody can use to learn any topic. Well, in general, when you go to ChatGPT, you can pretty much you can ask questions and it'll respond based on the query you have, but it's pretty open. On chat gpt you can go and ask anything and it will respond. The idea here is you want to create a personal assistant or a mentor on a specific topic, so you can customize chat gpt to respond to only specific questions which are specific to the domain or specific to the topic where you want to gain a little bit more expertise. So today I will walk you through how you can create how can you customize ChatGPT on a specific topic or area where you want to learn a little bit more on. So so one thing first, what you need to do is you will need to create an account on ChatGPT if you don't have one. And if you already have an account, log in. And as soon as you log in, you will see three options on the left. And in fact, you will see just two. You're seeing one option as Invest IQ, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. You should usually see two options: the Chat GPT option and Explore GPT option. And where we will start with Explore GPT option. So if you click on Explore GPT, you will see a list of applications, and these are the applications built by the community of Chat GPT users for specific purposes. You and so the idea here is, once you have created this personal assistant and you feel comfortable with it, and you have set some boundaries around it, some security at the high level around it, you can publish it and let other people use it. But let's get to that point, and I will show you how you actually create an app first. So now let's get to the one of the option that you're seeing on the screen on the left is called Invest IQ. So that's the app I created, and that's what I'm going to walk you through, how I created it and what this app is all about. So this app that I created, just give you a little background about it. This is on its seed and investment funding. Nothing very elaborate. I created this just for demo purposes so that I can show you how, based on the topic you pick up, you can create an app, an AI app. And that app can be customized to respond to only questions specific to your domain. Just a little bit more on it. As I said, this is very basic. This is a very, I would say, the first level of application that you can create. The second part to it, you can make it a little bit more advanced by adding knowledge from your specific industry or domain, or very proprietary information that you may have. But that's not today, but there is a way to do it, and you can personalize it even more based on the information you have, which is, I would assume ChatGPT probably doesn't have that information. Let's assume that. And usually that's the case when, let's say, you work for a company and that company has generated a lot of data, a lot of information, and and at some point, you want to use that information to make those responses coming out of ChatGPT even more personalized responses, very specific to your company and the industry you're part of. We will not cover that part a lot, but I will touch upon a little bit on that. So let's go to this app that I created. It's called Invest IQ. As I mentioned, this is about seed funding and investment strategies. And I think anybody who's interested in this domain, you will find it helpful as you're going to seed round, or like you're looking for venture capital investments, or you are just in the venture capital industry and you have some questions about it, or you're just starting out. So it might be a good place for people to go and check. Obviously, this is just I've created it for personal use, and this will not be published. And this is just for demo today. So let's get on it. So if you click on this Invest IQ, and you will see a drop down with Invest IQ in front. So if I click on the drop down, there is an option called Added GPT. Even even before I come here, let me go to Explore GPT one more time. And I think the one question I think you may have right away means, okay, well, you have created this app, but how did you start it on it? So how I started on it, as you can see here, there is a create button. So if I click on this create button, you will see another screen which has some forms and fields. And all I have done when I created the Invest IQ application, I filled out some information here, and I will show you what I filled out. So you will actually see um, the screen that I'm going to show you for Invest IQ with all these fields, but you will see information already filled out because I've already created this application. So let me go back. We are not going to create anything yet here. Let's click on Invest IQ again. Click on drop down, added GPT, and now you can see all different fields already filled out. And the name I've given to the app is called Invest IQ. That's the name that you're seeing on the left side of the screen. And then there is a description where you are given the short description of what this app is about. For, let's say, if you once you decide to publish it, that's how people are going to search on it, and that's how you're going to people find it. And when they come to it, they will know a little bit about the application. So simply what I've entered here is it's an AI powered expert in personal assistant in seed and venture capital investment strategy. Simple enough. I think nothing elaborate here. The big part, and I think that's where you will be spending a lot of time and in preparation before even you decide to create an app, AI powered app based on ChatGPT. So this is like instructions, like this is where you're putting requirements in place for your app. So you want to spend a lot of time here thinking about, okay, what I want this app to do, what boundaries I want to set up. You also want to think about, okay, well, do I need to consider security? So this is again very high level because we're just talking about the configuration. We have not gotten into the code and API calls and all that. People who are into programming, they probably appreciate that. We are not going there. So, but at this level, even you can instruct your app that, don't do this, do this, and this is a security protocol. If you see this confidential company logo or company name, please don't do anything, block it. And so there are a lot of things you can do right here. So let me show you what I have done for this application, the one that I've created. As you can see on the screen, I mean, there are multiple areas, and I think you can add more to it. I just focused on these few areas, like focus area, restrict topic, security protocol, and the list goes on. But this is pretty elaborate in itself, and you can use this as a framework to create your own application. So focus area is pretty much that's where you're telling the chat GPT when as a customization that please don't go anywhere else. This is the place. I just want you to respond only to seed and capital investment strategies and financial planning that goes with it and any relevant questions to it. It's smart enough. I think once you give this instruction and this is the intention you're providing to it, and it's pretty smart enough, and it will know that if somebody is using this app and they prompt and they ask a question which is not relevant to seed funding and venture capital investment, ignore it. You just respond back and saying, oh, no, this is not my domain. You probably need to go somewhere else, or like some other app you need to create, or like just go straight to chat GPT for the general other question. So that's where, which is very important. So you start with the focus area, and there's a reason I kept them as subject line, or you can call them as a topic, because you can use this as a framework for your app, and you should be good enough to go. So restricted topics, this very much goes to the focus area, and I think this is again kind of re-emphasizing the app that that app is not going to respond to anything besides seed funding and investment strategy questions. It's not going to respond to anything else. That's the whole idea here. The other big thing that you're seeing here on the screen is called security protocol, and I think that's where I would recommend everybody to please spend as much time as possible thinking through it, especially, let's say, well, a caveat here, I just want to mention it again. This is just for personal usage. We are not using it any company site or anywhere unless you're instructed to build something custom, and you've been asked to do it based on ChatGPT. You can publish it, and based on what your company policies are, recommendations are, to follow all those rules. What I'm showing you here is just for personal use. So you can, let's say, whatever topic you are learning on, I think is a great way for students to create an app specific to any course or something that they're learning. Of course, you don't want to use that for Q&A, like for you answering your exam questions and all. But you can use it as a personal mentor. And that's the way you should see it. Please don't look at it another way. This is a personal assistant, personal mentor available to you. So let's go back to security protocol. So all we are doing here is you are at very high level. Again, these are the configuration. We are not doing any programming yet, which is obviously the advanced level of apps that you can build using ChatGPT. And a lot of organizations are doing it, especially when you get into GenAI and all that with RAGs and everything else. So basically, you start to bring in some confidential, not I won't call it confidential, but proprietary, like some information that your company has gathered, the data they have gathered, and you want to generalize your response. So that is the second level to building an app. So simple stuff here at the security protocol level. You want to mention that please do not respond to any queries when you see some company names. I mean, you can specify the company names too. I have not specified here, but you can very well start to put some names here. If you, let's say, if you're working for a seed funding company and investment company, and you don't want their name to go out, and you don't want to attach anything to that name in terms of the data and everything else, you can actually replace these company names by whatever name your company has. So it can be as elaborate as possible. This is again very high level. And again, you're instructing don't share anything sensitive or confidential business data. But again, the ownership of this lies on the the people who are using it. So I think that's why I'm telling you use it for personal usage. The engine behind it, the model behind it, will not be able to differentiate what is confidential and what is not. I think this is something that you have to specify. In this case, this agent will reject anything if sees confidential. I think confidential mentioned in the documents. And if sees some names, it will reject all those. And and again, even in documents, if the company logo is coming or company information is coming, company name is coming, or confidential word is coming, or NDA is coming, like those kind of things, it will reject it. It's pretty smart actually overall, if you think it that way. So keep that in mind. I mean, make it as elaborate as possible based on how you want to use it. I would recommend don't use it at the company, and just make it as robust as possible as you can. Think about all the requirements before you start to use it, especially on the security part. Security and data privacy goes hand in hand, and especially when you're dealing with HIPAA and GDPR. And obviously, when you're using it for personal use, again, I think the basic philosophy, the basic idea here is don't use any personal information that will put you in jeopardy. I think you don't want to put anything here that is confidential, and that's something you don't want it to go out. Um, so these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind, and then legal and tax boundaries. And again, this is again to protect yourself. I think it is important when you publish it, like when you want people to use it. Well, keep this in mind. A lot of information that is coming through these chat GPT is public information. That's how they are built. So a lot of information is all that has been fed to it has come from the internet. So it's a public information, and it's basing a lot of the answers on the information it has gathered. So I think you have to be very careful in not suggesting that, okay, now you can ask any legal question related to seed funding and venture capital. Well, it'll give you some ideas like, yeah, you should think about that or things about this, but this is not the final say. You have to go beyond it. So I think what I'm trying to get to at this point, make sure if you decide to publish it, that this agent is not a replacement for legal and tax consideration, or and which a lot of seed funding and venture capital companies need. They have to deal with a lot of legal stuff and taxes. Any company does. So just think from that perspective. And again, information transparency. I think one of the things when your bot or your personal agent, personal mentor, as I call them, there I'm using them interchangeably. So if you hear me saying personal agent, mentor, they one and the same thing on the bot. Um, Make sure when it's responding, it attaches something which specifies in the response that the information that is coming, it's public information that I'm getting. So there is no proprietary, or there's no confidential information that I'm going to share with you. And this is more on information transparency. And I think at the end, what you're doing, whatever you're writing here, remember, keep that in mind. This is how model is going to interpret. It's going to read through all of these, and based on that, because it's a large language model, and it will interpret, okay, the person who has built this application is telling me these are my boundaries. And so whenever, so what's going to happen now when somebody comes and even that's not somebody, let's say if you come and you have created an app and you type something on a question on seed funding and venture investment, any question you may have, it will attach everything that you've listed here as boundaries. And those are the restrictions you're putting in place. And then the query will go out to ChatGPT, and it kind of a wrapper around your query. And I think that's how you get the response back. So keep that in mind. So more you can put here, more restrictions you can put here, better off you are. But again, the restriction that you're putting, you have to make sure that they are the restrictions concerning seed and venture capital investment strategy. So that's your primary topic, right? Now, in terms of customization options, the application Invest IQ app that I'm going to show you, it's pretty open, but you are free to make it a little bit more tailored to the market, the country, or whatever wherever you're dealing with. It can be US based, it can be UK based, and you can specify geographies here. And so keep that in mind. I think you can customize it even more. I kept it very open for this Invest IQ for demo purposes, but you can actually control that as well here. And again, this exclusivity, again, remember this. I think this is again, you are kind of stressing it even more, um, asserting it that, I just want you to respond only to seed and venture capital investment strategies, the topic that you have asked for. Um, and so these are some of the topics I've written down. Means I think your list may vary, but follow these guidelines. Most likely, if you follow these guidelines, the framework, I think it will work for you as well. But while keeping in mind, I think you want to start very personal. I think in terms of for own usage, treat it as a mentor about learning new topics, and you'll be amazed like how um, wonderful this tool is and how fast you can actually learn. For someone like me who is very much into like learning new topics, and I find it really amazing. And I think my own AI journey I started last year in building all these models now, thanks to UT Austin program as well. I means my learning has accelerated. I think I'm at a point now where I'm building apps left and right, and I'm building models, and very comfortable. And thanks to what ChatGPT has helped me a lot on that. So this is, I'm just telling you from my personal experience, guys. I think if you want to accelerate your learning, I think this tool is amazing. And I think this will make you very competent pretty fast. I think you just need to know how to use it, and how to use this as a tool, and while keeping in mind that what restriction, the security, and everything you need to consider, the data loads and all that. You have to be very careful, obviously, with data loads. Very important to keep that in mind. Um, so, and again, well, updates and best practices. Again, this is again your way of telling the LMM model. Try to pick the latest information and the past practices, and the bot, the agent will return back, and basically it'll try to do that. And it'll, in few cases, actually, when you're writing a query and sending it, it'll even say that, oh, this is the latest information I found, and this is what it means. So very important area. I mean, I think probably spend a lot of time on it, but the reason I spend a lot of time on it, I think you have to spend time on it, and especially on security protocol, data privacy things, so that so you are putting restrictions on yourself too when you're using it. So it will prompt you, are you sure that you're putting, I'm seeing that you're loading some data. Are you sure this is not confidential? So keep that in mind. And I think, again, I keep on saying that start with your personal usage. Don't go anywhere beyond that yet. And there's the sky's the limit, and this is the baseline. I think this is how you can start very basic application to help you, and you can build on it. I think when you get to the RAGs and generative AI, and you bring RAGs, as I was mentioning, and some very valuable data that you may have, and you want to personalize responses based on the data, the information that is very personal to you or that you have gathered over time. That's the second part of it. We will not be covering it, but there is an option I will show you later that is available for you to actually even start that at the configuration level. So another big area I want to talk to you quickly, and if any one of you have ever done chatbots, you or have used chatbots, or even like in your company, let's say if you have some support systems and they have been automated through some chat GPT, not chat GPT, I mean some bot kind responses, you probably know it. I mean, there are some FAQ questions, there are some prompts which are already available to you. All you have to do is click on it. And usually we do that to the questions which are pretty frequently asked questions, or frequently requested services, or support requests services out there, whether time and expense bot or you're using. So you may have some questions about, okay, what is the policy around how many days I can go without submitting my expense report, something like that. So those are very common questions, and I've seen. And so what you're seeing here in conversation starters, that's what it's talking about. It's saying, okay, tell me what are the common questions you want me to list right away as soon as somebody clicks on the application, what they're seeing. Some common questions. What are those? So for this application, I listed few questions here, and some of them is just based on my thought process. Actually, this is an interesting area. I mean, I've been following it, and lately, means there have been industry trends. So, for example, means when you look at this question number two, this actually came out of what I've been seeing in the industry for fast few years. I've not years. I mean, for past few months, and the investment funding was a little low. I mean, people were struggling because of interest rate and a lot of factors which were going on. It seems to be picking up again. So I threw this question out, like, can you tell me what are the current trends? Like where the seed and early stage VC investing heading? So, and you can think about these questions, and I'm sure like when you are learning a topic, I mean, there are some questions which will keep on coming. And just list them here, put them as questions here. That's all you need to do. Now, so there are some questions. I'm not going to go through all of them for your topic. Pick questions, write them down here. You can always come and modify them as you start to use it, and you realize there's some questions I'm asking over and over again. Put them here so that you don't have to type it every time, and you will get a response right away. So something to consider. You can populate it as much as you want. And let me now go to this knowledge area. And this is the area I was telling you about. I mean, that's where you can start to bring in some information which is very unique to you, or to your organization. Obviously, you're not going to the organization yet because, again, I'm saying it, this is only for personal use. But when you start to take it to the next level, that's where you want to start too. So you can start to upload some files, some information that may you have gathered, or the knowledge that you have gathered, and you think you want to personalize responses based on some of the knowledge you already have. So it can mix up the information and try to give you that. Me being actually, I don't know, so I'm very much into innovation, and one of the things I've learned as I was I've been practicing innovation, and I've learned from my professors as well when we were learning it. Well, a lot of time innovation happens when you try to bring two different concepts together and you mix them up. It's like a rainbow color. I think you mix different colors and you get different ideas out of it. It's something very similar here. You know what happens? There is this lot of information, plethora of information available through ChatGPT, and now you're bringing your own information. And when you bring all of that together, something else innovative may come out of it. I think that's the idea here. I think, and that's why I keep on saying this is an amazing tool available to every one of you, even the innovators. I think if you have that innovation mindset, I think, and you practice it, think on those lines, and you will find this amazing. um, so I will not cover a lot on this area. Let's go on to the capabilities. And under capabilities, you're seeing three check boxes. You see web browsing, DALL-E image generation, and then code interpreter and data analysis. So I have web browsing and the last option, code interpreter and data analysis checked. And the reason I did it, obviously, means for web browsing, yeah, I'm telling my app, yeah, it's okay to go out and look for the latest information. So, which is okay. And then code interpreter and data analysis, I think, because, as you probably know, there's a lot of data analysis and analytics capabilities available to ChatGPT right away. So it can do a lot of graphs and everything for you right away, I think, based on the data that it has. Um, there is a code interpreter too, but this is a good, I would say, feature available to people, individual software developers, and if they want to use it for to generate new code or just to edit their code. I think that these are some of the options available to you. I wish there was it's kind of clubbed together, core interpreter and data analysis. I wanted them to be separate so that I can only pick data analysis because I'm not doing any core interpretation through my seed funding app, investment funding app. So not a worry. You check it. And I did not select DALL-E and image generation because unless you are presenting it and you need some images or something specific based on like what you have created in analysis and you want to present something, I think you can use it. Well, again, you can do it later too. You can always come back and check this box and it's available. But I done based on my requirements, I thought I don't need it, so I'm not checking it. Now, actions, I'm not going to cover this here as much right now. And as you can see, when I'm hovering over this, you see the APIs start to come in. And API is another area where you really get into the nitty-gritty of making sure your application is as robust as possible. And that's where you start to bring in even your security policy that your organization have. So if I go back to these instructions, this is very high level, but still good enough because you are putting boundaries already here. But to take it to the next level, when you want to put a lot of checks and balances in place, and you want to ensure that your company policies are considered, your security protocols that your companies follow are considered, your company's roles and responsibilities are considered, and what permissions people have are considered. So it's basically you are getting into a very specifics of what your organization might need, and that's where APIs come in. And that's where you will start to play with RAGs and everything else, the generative AI. And RAGs are nothing but retrieval augmented generation, where you start to use some documents that you have, property documents that your company may have. It can be research papers, it could be patient information. There are a lot of things which companies have gathered over time. In financial cases, I think there may be some very specific information about available about the investors or the company you want to invest in and all that. So I think there are a lot of different things that you can start to bring in and make it more personalized to your industry, to your company, to your organization. And that's where you start to play with APIs. And that's the second part to it. At some point in future, I mean, maybe I'll create a video talking about like how you can use APIs and how APIs calls are made. I've been playing with it. I'm a very much of pet lover, and I think everything. Again, that's another thing. Actually, I just want to share quickly with you my story. I mean, I my learning has been accelerated m- in large part because of the passion and the motivation, the energy I get from pets. And so I started my journey. When I started my journey on I was looking for an area where I can start to apply these new skills. And where I found my place was in pet care. And I've been playing with racks in that space, and there are a lot of scope to make a difference. And so you can find the similar kind of passion too. I think we all have some areas where we get our energy. Y- Pick on that area. And if you know that, if you even if you don't know anything about that area, create an app, AI app, and you will start to learn faster. So that's just my 2 cents. So let me quickly save this now. As I said, so these are some of the areas you need to focus on. Spend a lot of time on instructions. Start with some conversation starters. It doesn't have to be a long list. Three or four max, good enough. I have 5 here, no worries. And then don't worry about knowledge files and capabilities, of course, in terms of actions. We will cover that in next video, how you can start to use API to do some very advanced level programming, and how you can actually start to use these APIs to make your app even more robust and very specific to your company. So let me update this now. Well, I didn't make any change, but I still updated it. But that's what you will do, is you will come to this page, and then yeah, one thing I want to tell you, when you create this app for the first time and when you save it, it will prompt you. What do you want to do? Do you want to publish it? Do you want to share it with everybody else? What I said, no, it's just only me, so I want to use it. And it'll just stop it there. It's again asking me now, since I've already said it's only me, but it's again asking me, do you want to invite other people? Do you want to share it? Whatever you built. I'm again saying no. So you can actually, well, you can copy a link too, just for your reference. You can save it, and you can actually come directly to it's very safe. Just copy the link to the app, and you can come directly to this app if needed. But otherwise, you can go through a ChatGPT main page as well. So let me go back to this now. And so that's how you see it. So now you see this Invest IQ app is showing up here because I just created it, and you can see all these FAQs, the questions that I wanted it to respond to right away. I mean, some commonly asked questions or something, whatever it is that you want to, you're visiting over and over again. They're right here. So let's test it out now. So what I've done, I've created this app, and let's start with this. So I just want, let's say I'm going to click on the second option. Can you provide an analysis of current trends in seed funding in right now? So let's see. So you can see it's well, it's a typical ChatGPT kind of response, but the beauty of this is it's only telling me about seed funding and investment capital, like sorry, venture capital investing. Um, so just to be sure that the boundaries I've given it, it's actually still responding. Um, I'm going to pick some random stuff. All right. So what I'm going to do next now, so let's go back and I'm going to test it again and I'm going to say, can you share a little bit about Anupam Kher? So a lot of folks may not know Anupam Kher outside India. Well, he has done some Western movies too, but he's not as known as such in Western world. He's a renowned actor in India. I grew up watching him while I was growing up in India, and amazing actor. So what I'm asking my bot, my personal agent, to do is to give me a little bit more information about Anupam Kaur Kher. So let's say what it does. So as you can see, I mean, well, this is a feature obviously from ChatGPT directly, and it's tell me which response do you prefer? Well, obviously, the good thing is it's saying I focus exclusively on providing support related to seed and venture capital investment strategy. So, and it's saying for inquiries outside of this domain, such as about individuals like care, I won't be able to assist, which is a good thing. That's what we wanted. So you see some of the restrictions that we put in, it's already working. So it's already taking in those restrictions and those restrictions through instructions that we have provided during configuration. It's already considering those before responding, which is a good thing. And that's what you want. So this is simple enough. This is a simple test that I've done. And again, let me try something else too. Now, something relevant to seed funding, something very simple. Let's say, can you explain compound interest to me? So let's see what happens. So good enough. So it's picking up the intention. It knows that if I'm asking about compound interest, it's related. It's related to seed funding and venture capital investment or any kind of investment. So good enough. So it's working. So it's working within the boundaries I've provided. There might be situations where it might still respond back to answers which are not related to seed funding and venture capital investments. That's where you go back to your instructions and start to revise it. Well, it you may still find problems, so you have to iteratively keep on going back and revising those instructions that you saw and keep on updating it. And that's how you can improvise it over time. And another thing, as I mentioned in the beginning, once you get to the APIs, that's where the beauty starts to fall in. That's where you can do wonders in terms of using the power of ChatGPT and then bringing your own expertise, your organization's expertise. Doesn't matter what industry you are in, what company you're working for, everybody has their unique competencies and unique capabilities. So think about it. Like once you start to bring those unique capabilities and core competencies to what ChatGPT is offering, what innovations you can create. It just blows my mind. And I think that's why I keep on saying, I think the people who can think differently, creatively, are going to do wonders here. So I think I would recommend every one of you, I mean, try to think when you're creating these bots, these AI applications, try to think in a radical manner. That think in a way that nobody has thought about it earlier. And it may sound ridiculous, I tell you. In the beginning, you will be laughed at. It may sound ridiculous, but the chances are, what are you going to create out of it? It will blow everybody's mind because nobody would have thought about it like the way now things can happen. And another beauty of what we are doing through some of these tools, think about the speed, like how quickly you can turn around something, how quickly you can build something. Well, that's all I wanted to show you today. I hope it helps you all. This is just the beginning, guys. Play with it. I do want to mention it again. Pick a topic and build a personal mentor to it. This is besides obviously like what you're learning at your company and what you're studying. If you're a student, you're studying at school, college, universities. Besides that, use this as your mentor, as a tool to enhance and accelerate your learning. At if you work for a company, I definitely want to emphasize all over again. Please follow your company policies, their rules and regulations, and try to understand what you need if you need to start using some data. If you need to personalize it and make it a little bit more robust and a little bit very personal to your organization, discuss it with your team, with your compliance and security teams, and see what works. But I tell you, that's the future. You will see a lot of agents, a lot of applications being built all over. And the good thing is you can experiment. I mean, there's no, the cost is pretty low. Anybody can experiment. And again, it may sound a little weird, but the creative people are going to do wonders through these tools. And if one of the skills you guys want to definitely develop in yourself, be creative. And we all can learn to be creative. It's not something we are born with. I think there's some misconception. I'll share some videos on that too, like how you can be more creative. And that's all you need. So be creative, be inquisitive, question, be ridiculous. That's all it takes to create something amazing. So hopefully you enjoy this video, or hopefully you have learned something from it. And I look forward to sharing more on it later. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Bye.